Good afternoon, I hope everyone's well today, or good morning when this goes out. Thank you for watching, it is appreciated as always. There's been a lot of speculation in the media over the past few days about Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor from hell.
You little bitch troll from hell.
The leftist who's not an economist, who's somehow in charge of the British economy, of what she knew, how she knew, what she knew, and how she misled all of us. This is what we're going to get into today. Let's discuss. So the first thing we're going to do is play this clip, and this is from David Davis. He's one of the sound Tory MPs. Yes, there are still a few sound Tory MPs that haven't been tempted to go to Reform UK yet. So we're going to see what he has to say first of all.
She misled the House, she misled journalists, she misled Cabinet, but most of all, and most importantly, she misled the public. Rachel Reeves is making the omnishambles budget look like an epitome of good organisation. Her budget so far has been a disaster from before it started until now. And of course she's now being accused of lying in the budget. One of her idols is Gordon Brown, who created this idea of fiscal rules to make him look responsible to the market. But he cheated on them. He created the PFI programme that has cost the British public 270 odd billion pounds. He was the one who sold the gold. Looked like a profit because it had been bought half a century before. In practice, it's cost the British public 35 billion pounds today. And Rachel Reeves is into the same things. She's claiming that there's a black hole. We now know it's not there. We now know the OBR changed its mind, but she didn't tell us about that. And she didn't tell us that what she's doing is creating herself, quotes, headroom.
This is very, very important what David Davis is saying here, alright? It's manipulation of markets. If you'd done this on the stock exchange in this city, if you had information and you divulged different information, you'd be in prison. This is insider trading. This is exactly what the government is not meant to be doing, alright? This is dodgy shit, pardon the language, but this is dodgy. When anybody tells you that the government cannot do something because they are handicapped because of the laws that are in place, the government make the laws, the government execute the laws, and they're specifically designed to keep politicians in the clear. This is exactly what Rachel Reeves doesn't tell you. And this is what I tell you every single video, more or less. There is nothing the government cannot do that can't be made legal. There is nothing the government can't do that it cannot get away with, because the King in Parliament is sovereign. That is, the Commons, the House of Peers, and the King acting as one. That is executive authority in the United Kingdom. That is the only reason Rachel Reeves has not been arrested yet, because the Crown controls Parliament, the Crown controls the police, and it's a political decision. Just like the decision to raise taxes on working people, that is a political decision.
She doesn't need this money. She's increasing the cost of government. She's making you pay more taxes, and she's not telling the truth about it.
So we'll leave that one there. Now we'll get into part of the article that has been released, alright? This is from, I think it's the BBC. Pushed on whether she has or had exaggerated the situation in order to pave the way for 16 billion increase in welfare for the immigrants, the dinghy divers, the migrants, the people that have no right to be here. They're the only people having more children than we can shake a fist at. The native British aren't doing that. Reeves said she has to factor in policy choices made in previous 6 months on welfare and winter fuel allowance. She said, I did say with those policies change just before the summer that we would have to find the money in the budget, and I was very upfront about that. No, you weren't, you fucking liar. Yes, I did make the decision in the budget to scrap the 2-child benefit limit. Yeah, so your client base, the new British, the illegals and legals that come here, are going to be fine. That's your voter base, not the working people of Britain anymore, the working class people of Britain anymore, the native population. You don't give two hoots about them. That's just seen out. And then it was funded by the increases on online gambling taxes, but also by cracking down on tax avoidance and tax evasion. Fully costed, fully funded by lifting 500,000 children, not native British, so I don't really care, we shouldn't be paying for that, out of poverty. So that's the first part of the article. And then the second part of the article, Downing Street has denied the accusations as the Prime Minister said Starmer is expected to gear back Reeves' budget decisions in a speech on Monday, which he has done, saying that the Chancellor's decisions will help tackle cost of living pressures and lower inflation. No, that's completely incorrect. Completely incorrect. You don't pump money into the benefit system to give people more money now, because it's going to come, the bill always comes due. Benefits aren't free. People pay for benefits, alright? Taxpayers, people who are on benefits pay for benefits. It always comes due. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul. It doesn't work, alright? Reeves said when asked by Laura Kuenssberg if she could be trusted, she responded that she could. Yeah, that's a fucking joke. And Kuenssberg said that she outlined what the Chancellor said in a speech on the 4th of November, and Reeves indicated that it was less cash than previously forecast due to productivity downgrade. And then she said she was likely to be going on to likely to need to increase taxes as a result. Reeves explained that despite what the critics were saying, I didn't have an extra $4 billion to play with. You did. And instead, the OPR figures have been downgraded from $9.9 billion to headroom in the spring to $4.2 billion in the autumn. Alright. I'll give you some headroom, love. I'll give you some headroom. Headroom, not bedroom. Headroom, Rachel Reeves. What you can do. Scrap net zero. Scrap it completely. Okay? If a energy is not actually, if it's not generating a profit and it's not self-sustaining, then it's a drain on the economy. Anything that's not efficient should be scrapped. Alright? Scrap net zero. How much is that going to save? Billions upon billions. What can you do with that money? You can increase military spending. Defensive development is the most important thing you could be doing. No benefits for new arrivals. You need to be paying into the system and a actual British person to get benefits. That will save untold millions and billions in cash. And you can also use the money for tax cuts for the working class. If I was the Chancellor, I know you can dream, one day maybe, this is what I would be doing. Scrapping net zero, only British people get benefits, and the thresholds would have to be raised. You need to be in work. Benefits should not pay. Increase military spending, and, of course, tax cuts for those who actually need it. This is specifically what I would be doing. If you think I'm onto something with this, comment below. I'm going to play a clip, and this is from the interview that was actually with Laura Kuenssberg earlier this week. I think it was yesterday. So I'm going to play this clip now.
Political choices that led you to put tax up in the way that you have, not the emergency and this enormous black hole that was suggested existed before your budget. Let's stick with whether or not everyone watching can trust you. Do you deny you created the perception before the election that you wouldn't put people's taxes up?
Well, before the election, we did set out a number of tax increases. We said we would get rid of the non-dom tax status, which we have.
Do you deny that you led people to believe you wouldn't put their taxes up, ordinary people's taxes?
Well, we had a manifesto commitment not to increase the rates of income tax, national insurance or VAT, and also that we would keep corporation tax at its current levels. In the budget last year and the budget this year, I have stuck to those. But I was really clear on that speech that you referenced on the 6th of November that I would be asking everyone to make a contribution to be able.
I hate this framing. The taxman, or taxwoman in this case, does not ask you to make a contribution. Tax isn't voluntary. You are being ordered by HM Revenue and Customs to pay this money through PAYE taxation and any other methods that they bring in. You are forced to pay tax. She's not asking you to do anything. This is a order. This is a instruction.
Protect funding for public services.
No, it's to pay for benefits for your new arrivals for your new client class. That's replacing and substituting the working people like me in the United Kingdom. That is specifically what the tax rises are for, to fund your new client class.
and that is why I made the decision to freeze the tax threshold for a further 3 years. The Conservatives froze that for 7 years. We have extended it from 2028 by an additional 3 years, but we haven't changed the rates of income tax, national insurance, VAT, or indeed how we haven't changed the corporation tax rate.
But as a result of your decisions this week, 1 million more people, more than 1 million people, will start paying income tax or pay higher rates in the years to come.
2028.
You're raising an extra £8 billion out of income tax. So whether it was the spirit or the letter of your election promise that you wouldn't put taxes up on working people, you have broken that promise, have you not?
Well, I was really upfront in my speech, both in the budget this week and also on the 6th of November.
So let's be upfront now, you've broken that promise, haven't you?
Yes, she has.
Well, I have asked people to...
You're telling people, you're ordering people. Taxation isn't a choice. The government does it to us. You're not asking. People can voluntarily pay more tax if they want to. You are ordering people to do it.
Make a contribution. We didn't break the manifesto. We haven't broken the manifesto because that's explicitly said about the rates. But am I asking working people to pay a bit more? Yes, I am asking working people to pay a bit more. And I have been clear and honest about that. The Conservatives did it by sort of trying to sweep it under the carpet. I don't want to be that sort of Chancellor. I am being honest.
No, you're a leftist Chancellor that wants to fleece working class people, working people in general, to give it to your benefits. Class people. The people that don't want to work, that's exactly what you're doing. This is what every Labour government does.
To be that we're asking
well, if
people
you
to
don't
pay
want
more
to be that
tax.
sort of Chancellor, let you remind you what you said. Your manifesto said we will not increase NI, the basic or higher or additional rates of income tax. Labour won't raise taxes on working people. And you created that perception. And now, after all, you are putting their taxes up, and you won't even admit to people that you have broken the spirit of that promise. You're saying, oh, well, if you'd read the small print, you might have realised we do it anyway.
It was in the next sentence, Laura. It said those specific taxes. But I do recognise that we are asking people to pay more. That is a choice I made. I could have chosen, as I said to Matt Chorley in that interview on the 10th of November, to make deep cuts to...
Yeah, you can make deep cuts to net zero. Okay, it's not cost effective. Okay, the risk outweighs the reward. Get rid of net zero. Increase military spending, no benefits for new arrivals, your client class, and tax cuts for the working class, the people who actually need it. That's what you could have done. That would have been a working class budget. You didn't do that. I seen some soldiers down in Catcher today. I personally shook their hands, said thank you for your service, alright? They are shafted. They need military spending. Are you doing anything like that? I don't think you are. Alright? Don't come to me. Don't come to me claiming you're the big I am. You're not even a proper economist, okay? You should be in prison.
To public spending. I didn't make that choice because people voted for change in the...
Yeah, they didn't vote for you. It was a loveless landslide. Anyway, I've had enough of you pontificating. You're an absolute joke. We're going to leave this one here. Anyway, thank you for watching. Do you think I'm being exceedingly polite to Rachel Reeves? Do you think I'm being too harsh? Do you think that me as a working class person should be supporting Labour? Do you think I should be supporting Reform? Who do you think? Do you think Reform have the answers? They may answer some of the big questions. Anyway, Rachel Reeves needs to be in prison. She needs to be in jail. And so does Tutia Kia. They all need to go. I am grateful for your support. I'm grateful for you watching. You have a good day, and as always, do that great stuff like, subscribe and share. Have a good day.